And welcome back to the Flow FM Sports Fix on this Tuesday. It is March the 9th. We've gone from the Flow Man talking about local footy, but now it's time to talk about AFL. And there were some pre-season games taking place over the weekend. For a wrap, we have got the Statman. G'day, Jace. How are you today?
G'day there, Clayton. How are you going, mate?
Doing all right.
Excellent. Yeah, there was a few interesting matches played over the weekend. The AFL men's pre-season officially coming to a close in 1 week. And look, it's no surprise some of the results that we've seen, but there are some things to talk about out of these weekend matches, and we might start by just having a quick look at a rough look at the scores at least, and we'll talk about some talking points out of them. So GWS, these guys in the Swans had a draw, if you remember correctly, in last week's practice match.
Yep.
This week it was a little bit more clear-cut. The Giants, in fact, over the Swans, 18-6, 114 to the Sydney Swans, 12-14, 86. Port Adelaide absolutely thumped the Crows. We'll just move straight on and talk about Fremantle and the West Coast, who had a tight one again. The Fremantle might be around the mark. West Coast, 9-13, 67. The Fremantle Dockers, 8-9, 57. And just to backtrack to AFLW, did you see that the West Coast Eagles Hawk got out?
Yeah, what happened there?
The eagle.
Yeah, I saw something.
Well, it's obviously an eagle. Yeah. It's not a hawk. It's an eagle. Yeah. It was supposed to come back and decided not to. And that was during the AFLW match, which Fremantle won comfortably. Bad omen for the Hawks crew, for the Eagles crew, with the eagle going rogue.
Well, if the eagle decides it doesn't want to come back, who's going to argue with it?
Exactly. There were a few fans in the stands not doing much arguing. They were doing more ducking than arguing, Clayton.
Yeah, I can understand that. Here, have the popcorn. You can have me pie. You can have it. Take it.
Yeah. Whatever you want, it's yours. The Western Bulldogs took on Melbourne in the pre-season as well, and the Bulldogs got the job done fairly comfortably there. Melbourne looked average in this game, 15-16, 106 to Melbourne, 10-7, 67. Could have been a heck of a lot worse. And then the most bizarre game of the pre-season, which just reminded everybody that, yes, it is pre-season, was the Gold Coast Suns, who ended up going down to Brisbane. The Lions, 8-9, 117. The Gold Coast Suns, 13-11, 89. The Gold Coast Suns were 4-goal in front at half-time in this game, Clayton, and pretty much put the queue in the rack.
Really? They just decided they'd done enough?
Yep, they wrapped a few of their stars, in particular one of their key backmen, wrapped him in cotton wool. The Lions, on the other hand, went the other way and decided that they needed to extract the digit, and Joey Danaher looked pretty good for them. Obviously not up against much in defence, while the Suns at half-time said, okay, that'll do, and just put some of their stars in a bit of cotton wool. So just reminding everyone, it is pre-season. Probably best not to get too excited about it all.
Exactly, and I can understand it being a pre-season game. They won't be doing it round one for certain, but you can understand a pre-season game, and the last thing you want to do is have one of your stars get injured, and that changes the whole complexion of where you're going to be round one and beyond.
It does. Look, let's have a look at what's come out of the weekend, and there are unfortunately some injuries to talk about, Clayton.
Yep.
So, first of all, we should talk about Cam Rayner, who unfortunately looks certain to have gone down with an ACL, so his season is over before it even begins for the Brisbane Lions. Terrible news for Cam, and terrible news for the Brisbane Lions, because he looked like he was setting himself up for a big year. So, terrible news there for him. We've got a couple of others. Adam Treloar looks like he's at a race against time to be fit for round one. Still Sidebottom is struggling as well. They had some knocks during the pre-season as well. Adam Treloar is getting closer, but still has some work to do. He had a bit of a hit out against the Bulldogs reserves side apparently last weekend, and looked like he did okay. So he's still a chance, but unlikely at this point. Some other injuries from the weekend. Well, we already know that there was a significant injury, in fact, to Cam Rayner. But before that, Malera, that's been confirmed that he will be out. That was last week. That was confirmed, and he'll be gone for 12 months. and some suspension issues as well for Carlton, where we see Zach Williams looks like he's going to get rubbed out and won't be available for the round one opener against Richmond. So I've seen that incident. He does collect his opponent high, and I think it's unlikely that he'll get off that one, Clayton.
Okay, well, Carlton doesn't need anything like that. They need all their players fit and ready, and especially to try and... because they frustrate us year in and year out for the last few years especially. They look like they've got all the goods and then do nothing, and then they go and surprise you the next week. But we need that to stop, and they need to be consistent.
That's true. I think some good news stories, though, out of the pre-season. We should talk about Majak Daw, who has claimed a position on the Melbourne Demons list. So he's on the rookie list there, so his career is not over yet.
No, he was looking all right, so good on him.
Yep, he does look all right. Speaking of Melbourne's list, Oscar Mcdonald was discarded at the end of last year. Well, he has claimed the final spot on Carlton's list, which is an interesting one there. So whether or not they'll use him in defence or perhaps just have him as a backup option, I don't know, but... I think that's an interesting one. Oscar Mcdonald very much maligned at Melbourne. Whenever something went wrong, the fans were certainly quick to blame him. So I guess we'll see how that unfolds for Oscar and whether or not he can get some revenge on his old mob.
He would like to, you'd think, anyway.
Yeah. Lots of other news going on. The world of fantasy, of course, is just lighting up at the moment. Have you got a fantasy footy team, Clayton?
I think it's the Adelaide Crows.
Not quite what I meant, but I like that. That's a very, very interesting statement to make because at the moment those fantasy players might be using a lot of the Adelaide Crows team, I think, with some of the rookies that they'll be putting out early. They are a club at the moment decimated by injury, and with the lack of talent at the moment, the Adelaide Footy Club, they can ill afford to have some of the starters that they've got out for the season, like the likes of Malera, and looks as though Talia will miss round one as well, which is a big concern for them.
And round one, it's only a week away. That's quick.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're not far away. Yep, we're on the countdown now. So, look, there's a lot of things that will happen in between now and round one, but the round one program is, I think, the thing that we need to have a look forward to the most because there are some mouth-watering matchups for round one action, Clayton, particularly given that we'll be able to have half-capacity crowds in Melbourne, and that'll start on Thursday, the 18th of March. Folks, today is the 9th of March. That means less than 10 days, and we're into the real stuff. That's Richmond and Carlton at the MCG. The following evening should have been the Adam Treloar rematch against Collingwood, and that won't happen. By the looks at this stage, Clayton, I don't think Treloar's going to play in that game.
No, I don't think so either. No, he won't be playing in that match. Yeah, certainly not.
Port Adelaide, they're going to head to Melbourne on the Sunday and take on North Melbourne, and they will give them an absolute touch-up. Just how protected are Port Adelaide at the moment, doing their pre-season matches against the current Wooden Spooners and then playing round one against the future Wooden Spooners. Gee whiz, you guys are getting looked after at the moment, Clayton.
It's about time, you could say.
Well, yeah, you probably could say that, I suppose. The Crows, on the other hand, they're going to go up against this year's premiers in round one. I'm not sure how this works. The Cats will be heading to Adelaide Oval
Hang on. You're saying the Cats are this year's premiers. You called it early last year with Richmond, so you're jumping off the Richmond bandwagon. You're on Geelong now.
Oh, it's absolutely over. Yeah, their recruiting's been second to none. They will win the flag in a canter this year. They'll probably win the grand final by 7 to 8 goals.
Okay, we've got that document. Good. We've got it documented on this day. So timestamp done. So yeah, okay. Just in case we need to revisit this tape.
Yeah, forget about it. It's over. Geelong Cats fans, you're doing a lap of honour. Really, the season's a waste of time. Might as well just give them the trophy now.
Well, the only thing I would say to that is my chiropractor mate Lucas. Every time he goes to see the Crows, the Geelong play, they lose. So I think what we should do, folks, is we should all get tickets to every game that Geelong play and send Lucas to them. I think that would work well.
That's a fair call. Yeah. That's a fair call. I'll make this comment now. If Geelong don't win the premiership this year, they'll never win another one again.
Okay.
There you go. I'm just in the mood for ridiculous statements. But no, I can't see Geelong not winning this year. I really can't.
Okay, well, I just wanted to call you up on that because, last year you said Richmond and I thought you would have gone the same way, but you've jumped off onto Geelong. Fair enough. Okay, you've called it. There you go.
Richmond will be around when the whips are cracking too, but I think Geelong with their ends this year just they look incredible on paper. The game is played on grass, thankfully, not paper, but I saw enough of them in the pre-season, and I think they're going to be up and about. Don't worry about that.
Well, we'll hold you to it, Jace. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting season now. It's changed a few things, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be lots and lots of fun, and who knows? You could be. Well, you were right last year. Could you be right 2 years in a row?
Probably not.
Yeah. Let's hopefully that will be the case. All right.
I'll tell you the one game I am looking forward to in round one before we finish up, and nobody else is talking about this game, but I think this will be a beauty. The Gold Coast Suns will take on the West Coast Eagles. Now, the Eagles are not travelling all that well. The Suns have never won in Perth. I think they could win their first game in Perth in round one. You've heard it here first, folks.
Okay, I'd like to see that happen too. Because yes, and we'll pass that on to Ellis because we know how much he loves his West Coast Eagles.
All right, mate. Well, it was good chatting. Always love catching up for a chat here on the Sports Fix, and I'm sure there's plenty to come later in the week.
There certainly will be. We'll talk again soon. Cheers, Jace.
Thanks, mate.